How are you doing, guys? Oh man, it's been a minute since I've done an Instagram live video, and honestly, I want to start doing more of them. I remember probably about maybe a year and a half ago, a year ago, I was doing consistent live videos, and I know you guys were loving it to the point where I actually got offered a sponsorship deal for my live videos, and I turned it down, but that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. Absolutely no judgment on the people who offered me the sponsorship. It just wasn't the right time for that particular one. Now, I want to have a chat to you guys about something because, look, to be honest, I truly believe that as a society, and especially us as Christians who are supposed to be taking a moral stand on behalf of society. Because let's face it, like, society's messed up, society's whack right now. Like, and it's been messed up for quite some time, but man, the last maybe 2 years, things have gone next level. All right, to the point where a criminal gets shot in the streets committing a crime, but because he's black, instantly, like, a city gets burned to the ground. Like, that's messed up. Like, that's all sorts of weird, and that's all sorts of wrong. And like, this whole thing with George Floyd, like, oh my goodness, man, like, how much evidence do you guys need to see before you realize that George Floyd was not a victim? George Floyd was a criminal. And George Floyd was not killed by the police officer. George Floyd was killed by the two types of drugs that was in his system that he'd overdosed on. But that's too easy, and that works against your narrative, doesn't it? That's just too simple. It's too simple to believe in logic these days. That's the problem we've got in society. We don't believe in logic because logic requires us to actually set moral guidelines and a moral compass and a moral threshold. Man, who wants to do that when you can just blame everyone for the problems? Man, I don't get it. And I'm looking at what happened with Ma'Khia Bryant. Yeah, Ma'Khia Bryant. That 16-year-old, and like, okay, look, I don't know how many of you guys watched that video, but I did. I watched the 16-year-old girl get shot. And look, I'm going to be really blunt, and there are people who are going to hate me, but she deserved it. Honestly. If I tried to kill someone and the police shot me dead, that's justified. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, because you might be avoiding the news because it's messed up and politicized and everything else, and honestly, I don't blame you. This is what happened. So in Columbus, Ohio, there were some police officers who got called to a residence because of a domestic dispute. When they arrived there were some fights that broke out. One of the fights, a guy kicked a girl who was on the ground in the face. He kicked her, actually no, it was the side of the head, in front of the police officers, which honestly, any guy who is willing to assault a woman, that's, in my book, like, that's so unacceptable. It's so far past unacceptable. And to be truly honest, if he'd been shot while assaulting her, I would have been like, you know what, that's him defending the lady who was in the ground. Because if you get kicked in the head in the right spot, your brain can hemorrhage and you can die. That's unacceptable, especially in front of a police officer where you could be killed doing it. I hope he got arrested. I didn't see in the video whether he did or not. I think they were too busy worrying about the 16-year-old who got killed, which, by the way, they did try to resuscitate her. They did rush her to the hospital, blah, 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 blah. They followed everything correctly. Now, what we saw on the video was Ma'Khia Bryant. If I got the name wrong, let me know. Ma'Khia Bryant was wielding a knife, and she was attacking another young lady, and it definitely appeared that she was attempting to stab her. Now, when I say it appeared that way, the video was so conclusive that that's exactly what was happening. Now, again, as I said, if you are trying to kill someone and the police get involved and the police end up killing you in an attempt to protect the person who's about to be killed, that's justifiable. Now, I've had someone try to kill me before and I didn't have a police officer there to protect me. I really wish I did. It would have made the whole situation easier. It definitely would have made the situation easier, but I didn't have one. This lady did. Now, if you're wielding a deadly weapon and you're attempting to kill someone in front of a police officer who is armed, expect to get shot. Simple as that. Now, I think it's funny because the media always twists this, and it's never in the police officer's favor. Now, the police officer, in my mind, they saved a life. And that police officer should be commended. That police officer is a hero. That police officer has now killed someone and is going to go through extensive psychological therapy. There is a lot that goes into it, and it's so unfair for them because they've been put in a situation where they had zero control over their mental well-being for potentially the rest of their life. All right, I've never killed someone, but I've been told it's very traumatizing. I've been told it can affect you emotionally and mentally for the remainder of your life. Now, that police officer, he didn't have a choice whether or not he was going to get traumatized. He acted in a way that was befitting a police officer. He defended a person who is in need. But his life is never going to be the same. The girl who is trying to be killed, I can testify to this. Her life will never be the same. Alright, when someone tries to take your life, things become very different. And you start seeing things very differently. And ask anyone who's been in a situation where someone has tried to take their life, and that's exactly what they'll tell you. It's quite a how would I say this very politely? It's a very interesting experience. It's something that I would never wish on anyone. The fear of knowing that someone wants to take your life. It's not fun. Now, the thing that I don't get, and this is hilarious, the media has called it racism. And the White House press secretary, so the person who deals with the media in the White House, has deemed it to be racism. Now, let's look at this mathematically for a second. White police officer has taken a black life. Instantly, we can assume that it could be. They took the black life in order to save a black life. Wait a second, if he's racist, what's he doing trying to save a black person? If he is a racist white person, what is he doing trying to save a black person? I can tell you right now, it's because he didn't care if they were black, if they were white, if they were Hispanic, or if they were purple. He was saving a life. And that's his job, that's what he's supposed to do. Now, we've already gone over the fact that she was trying to kill someone. So let's not dig into that because that's unnecessary and we're just going to be going around in circles. I don't want to hit that. But how is saving a person of color's life racism? Because this is not about the fact that he killed someone. This is about the fact that he saved someone. He saved someone's life. Someone's little girl is alive right now because that police officer did his job. Someone's little girl right now is dead because she chose her fate. She chose to try to take someone's life in front of a police officer who was armed, who she knew was going to shoot. And honestly, if you don't know that they're going to shoot while you're trying to murder someone, that's kind of on you. Let's face it. That's on you. Now, it's gone further again, because we've got the George Floyd trial, which, let's face it, is not the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is dead. They're trialing the police officer, and his name escapes me, so I'm not going to say who it is. But this guy, the evidence in that trial was so heavily favoring the police officer, it's ridiculous. I'm willing to bet any money that there's going to be a mistrial there, and he's going to disappear, because that's all witness protection does. But that poor guy is never going to be able to live in the States again. There's no way this time next week he will not be in the United States of America. He will be somewhere else. He will be under a fake ID, and he and his entire family will be under fake identifications for the rest of their lives, different everything. All because society is broken. Society would rather favor a criminal instead of a police officer who is doing his job. And that's sad. And you know what? It's going further again. You look at LeBron James. What LeBron James put on his Twitter feed with the picture of the police officer who shot Ma'Khia Bryant, saying, "You're next." Hilariously enough, let me tell you this. Threatening to kill someone is actually attempted murder. And you can get charged for that. LeBron James could actually be charged for anything from attempted murder all the way to conspiracy to commit murder. LeBron James could be behind bars, but that's not going to happen because he's woke as hell. And everyone else in the American legal system at the moment, if they're not woke as hell, they're scared of the people who are woke as hell. But man, that's disgusting. What the heck, man? You can't do that. That's a death threat. You're a celebrity. You're making $28 million a year, plus sponsorship endorsements, plus this, plus that, plus everything else. You're getting paid money to be in movies. Bro, you're out there sending death threats on Twitter? Are you dumb? Seriously? Are you that stupid? Alright, I don't care how big you are, man. Come back and talk to me about that one. Answer me. If someone knows LeBron James, send him this video, man. I want to know, LeBron James, are you that stupid? I think you might be. I hope you're not, for your sake. But I think you might be. Sheesh, man. Far out. There's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. Before we go, I'm just going to quickly wave to the people who have joined. For those of you who have jumped online, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. You know, it's a bizarre feeling to be sitting in an empty music studio talking to myself on the screen. It's really interesting. But yeah, sometimes it's a bit of a surreal experience thinking that someone's actually staring back at me right now through their phone. But I can't see them. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm really hoping they're getting value from this. So if you're watching this, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for supporting. If you don't agree with me, man, that's fine. I don't expect everyone to believe me. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. I ain't out here brainwashing people. I'm out here spitting what I believe to be the truth. Where are you? Okay, so I'm currently in a city in Australia called the Gold Coast. How you going, by the way, Tom? Good to see you, bro. But I'm actually in my music studio at the moment, so just off to here is my microphone and my computer, and off to the left is like storage and couches and stuff like that. So I'm at home at the moment. That's where I'm at. So where are you, man? Are you back in Australia or are you somewhere else? While we're waiting to hear where Tom is at the moment, here's the last thing I wanted to have a chat about. I can't stand it when people jump on bandwagons to get clout. It drives me up the wall. Now, we saw it a little while ago when BLM started making big things about George Floyd and all the other people who I would have been able to rattle off to you other times, but they're slipping my mind at the moment. They did that black screen post where everyone put up a picture of like a black screen, and like the entire Instagram had a blackout. And I hate it when people jump on these things just because other people are doing it, or just because they think it's going to make them more popular. And I've actually, I'll be straight up and honest, I've actually unsubscribed to Rapzilla on Instagram because they have started posting in support of George Floyd. Now, Rapzilla is a Christian hip-hop platform. A Christian hip-hop platform, and you are condoning a convicted felon over the law enforcement of your country. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. And I don't know if you guys have gone fully left woke, or if you guys are just doing what you think is politically smart. But that's not what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're supposed to be standing up for what's right. You're supposed to be standing up for what's good, and you're supposed to be standing up for what's pure. And you ain't doing that. So I've stopped subscribing. I won't be submitting to any more of their playlists. I won't be participating in anything like that because, honestly, they're woke, but they need to wake up. So I'm done with that. No. Which means I do need to get going. I've got to go pick up my oldest one, and then I'm going to go to the shops, and then I've got Connect Group at church. So I'm going to catch up with you guys later. Again, thank you so much for jumping on. If you guys want me to do some more lives, I would love to start doing more of those. If you guys have a topic that you would like me to cover, I would love to do something like that. If you would like to discuss something with me on live, hit me up and we will organize that, man. I'm happy to do that. In the meantime, you guys stay blessed, and seriously, don't buy into the stupid crap that people feed you. Most of it's wrong. All right? Look into facts, make up your own mind about a situation, and use reliable sources to do so. I'm one choice. That's the truth. Peace out, guys.